Hi, my name is Scott Cooney. I'm an author and a business owner. Today I'd like to talk a little politics. I think I might have finally hit my limit when Michelle Bachmann, the nutjob extraordinaire, won the Iowa straw poll. Pundits said she won because she was the most extreme candidate, most relentlessly criticizing President Obama and really railing against regulations and taxes and the government and all those things that the Tea Partiers listen to. And I think at that point it got me thinking, how is anyone still buying this Tea Party bullshit? Their arguments make no sense. Let's go into them. So let's take their main complaint, deficit spending. Totally Obama's fault, right? Only left-leaning politicians can run up deficits, right? Well, thanks to this color-coded graphic, you can clearly see that the federal deficit is neither a red nor a blue issue. Actually, now that I look at it, it is clearly a red and blue issue. The last 4 Republican presidents have overseen an increase in gross federal debt as a percentage of GDP. The last 5 Democrats before President Obama have seen a decrease in that figure. The federal deficit when Ronald Reagan took over was about $1 trillion. This was 1981. He oversaw just about a tripling of the deficit. If you read into the details and you read Colin Powell's autobiography, just for one example, Colin Powell talks about when he was in the military at the time, President Reagan used to take their budgets that they would send in and say, go back to the drawing board, spend more money. President Reagan wasn't the first to do borrow and spend economics, but he definitely was the first to make it an art form and make the American people love it. George H.W. Bush, a Republican who followed President Reagan, oversaw an increase from $2.7 to about $4.6 trillion. President George W. Bush oversaw a deficit spending from the very first moment he took over, despite the fact that he inherited a surplus from Bill Clinton. But at least the Tea Party is not just a rebranded Republican Party, right? They're totally independent. They were protesting in the streets during the Bush administration about deficit spending every single day. Rah! Oh, wait a minute. No, they actually never did that. Not once, not one day of protest. The Tea Party's totally nonpartisan concern over the deficit only miraculously appeared in 2009 when President Obama became president. No coincidence there, for sure. So the next time you see a Tea Partier breaking something or yelling something in a mildly coherent fashion, ask him or her why they didn't care when Bush II, Reagan, or Ford were running up deficits. See part 2 of this video and find out more reasons why the Tea Party's arguments don't hold water by going to greenbusinessowner.com/teaparty.htm. Thanks, and pass it along. If our website is down when you go there, you can assume that we were hacked by somebody who didn't like this video. And I want to make very clear that I have absolutely nothing against anyone who's in the Tea Party. What I have something against is billionaires funding a grassroots movement and really confusing a lot of people and making them rail against their own best interests when it really comes down to it.